Hi everyone.
Oh,
Very happy to introduce Jürgen here. He's doing the webinar tonight, all the way from Switzerland, from Kiental. And my colleague Diana is going to be looking after the chat. She just wanted to say hi to everyone before she disappears behind the scenes. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm just going to show the intro video for the European Shiatsu Congress, just to get us in the mood, because it's the last webinar of the series. So some cool graphics from the ESC. Okay, so there we are. This is a partnership we've done with the European Shiatsu Congress, and we've had terrific fun with these webinars. It's great, and it's just been so amazing. And I've met all these people that I remember from way back, and Jürgen's one of them, right? I remember from the Hamburg days. In fact, I even worked in your clinic once when I was visiting to teach Wilfred. The small world, the Shiatsu world.
Some years ago.
It was many years ago, many years ago, yeah. And I have to say a big shout out to Wilfred Rappenicke, by the way. He was the first person to give me a teaching gig abroad. Okay. 1987, that was my first international trip. It was so exciting to go to Germany. I really loved going to that school. It's a lovely room, beautiful room. Hamburg Shiatsu School, beautiful energy there. I love that. Okay, so let's put your presentation up for you, and it's over to you, Jürgen. Really looking forward to this. It's very exciting to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for inviting me, for having me here, and hello to everybody from all over the world, I can see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I hope my English is guiding me through. I'm not used to speak English every day.
Okay. No, sounds fine to me. Fine to me.
So the topic today is about osteopathy and the connection to Shiatsu. And I would like to know if you have any experience with osteopathy as a client or as practitioner, or maybe from workshops. So the poll is open, I think.
Poll is open, yeah. It is, yep. And lots of them have had osteopathy as a client. 58% of them have had osteopathy as a client. One person is an osteopath already.
Wow.
Yeah. And some of them, 2 people have learned osteopathy in workshops, but 36% of your audience so far, and people will be joining, I'm sure, actually have no experience of osteopathy. So they're completely new to the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I would like to start with a little meditation. If you like, you can just close your eyes and find a comfortable position on your chair or on the floor, or even lying down as you like.
Okay.
And just allow your attention to go into the body. And feeling how you are in the moment. How is the key moving? Where is the key very present in your body? And then slowly feeling the body weight going to the earth, coming down, the weight of the bones, of the flesh, of the organs. You can really release your eyeballs, your tongue, your shoulders. And more maybe feeling the support of the earth, which gives you support towards the sky. Coming into a very natural upright position, comfortable. So find your alignment. as it is possible in the moment. And be the connection between earth and sky. You are this connection. And then there's a little exercise to tune in into the tissues of your body, the different tissues. And for this exercise, maybe you find a sitting position and place one hand on one of your thighs. The other hand is free, as you like it, maybe in your hara or another place or on the heart. And then your attention is going to the cloth, to the fabric you are touching. And just sense the quality of the fabric. Is it more kind of a thick fabric or feeling like transparent? Is it more cool or warm? And then the attention leaves the fabric and goes a little bit deeper towards the skin. You try to feel your skin. If you like, you have closed eyes or open eyes, as it is easy for your attention to feel the skin, the quality of the skin. You're tuning into the metal element, the quality. How does your skin feel? Is it nicely, is it in a way wet? Or does it feel very dry? Is it sort of a border towards the outside? Or does it feel like more connective space? And then your attention leaves the skin and goes again a little bit deeper towards the subcutaneous fatty tissue, to the fatty tissue, just underneath the skin. Quality of the earth also, nourishing quality. How does this tissue feel? Can you tune in? Can you feel it? What is the quality? Quality, is it really nourishing? Does it really feel like it's in its quality, or is it more sort of weak, a weak feeling? And then your attention leaves this tissue and goes again deeper towards the fascia of the muscles of the thigh. And the special quality of the fascia is the connective quality. Sometimes you feel turns towards other parts of the body, and it's supportive for the muscle. It holds the muscle. There's also quality of metal element. Just ask yourself, do I get a feeling for this fascia around the muscles? And then slowly going deeper into the tissue of the muscles, wood element, tension and relaxation. How do the muscles of the thigh feel in its quality? Are they able to relax? Are they able to go in tension if it's needed? Does it feel vivid, almost stiff? And then your attention leaves the muscle tissue and goes a little bit deeper towards the periost, the fascia around the bone. This is the area where we feel pain when we get a hit towards the leg. It's very supported by nerves, very nourishing tissue for the bones. So there's also a sort of a metal quality and earth quality. How does it feel? Do you get a connection with this kind of tissue? Just wrapping the bones, supporting the bones, giving safety to the bones. And then your attention goes straight into the bone tissue. Can you dive into the bones? How do they feel? The quality of the water element, is it vivid, powerful? There's sort of a deep quality maybe, or does it feel exhausted somehow, or sort of weak? And you can go even deeper into the marrow. Just try to get a feeling here. And then leaving this tissue, this area, and going slowly back to the bone tissue, and then to the periost, this fascia around the bones, to the muscle tissue, to the fascia around the muscles, and then to the fatty tissue just beneath the skin, back to the skin, and to the cloth, the fabric you touch, and then your attention on your hand leaves the thigh, and then rest a moment and let your attention go through this little journey through the tissues, and answer for yourself the questions of the next poll.
Okay, would you like me to launch the poll for you, Jürgen?
I can do it, thank you.
Yeah.
So there's the first poll. Maybe you have to do it on the right side, Cliff.
I'll edit it. I'll launch it. This is the. Did you sense the levels of tissue? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll launch it. Okay. So yeah, just reflecting on the exercise. That was a really powerful exercise. I thought actually I could feel all those different layers down there. Let's see. I'm getting a little bit of background noise. I think it might be when you're touching a keyboard. Jürgen?
Yeah. Oh.
Are you?
No, I didn't really touch it, I think.
Okay, I wonder what it is. I just thought I could hear a few bangings and things, but I don't know what it is.
I see.
Just touched.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, a few people couldn't feel anything, any levels, but most of them could feel all of them, and most of them could feel more than one.
Great.
So there we go. Yeah,
wow.
Good. There was some that I wasn't that familiar with. I wasn't so familiar with the connective tissue around the bone. I wasn't so aware of that, in my mind. But when I've got to it, I can kind of feel what it was like. So
that is very interesting tissue. Yeah.
An interesting layer, isn't it? Yeah. So should we ask them which was there an obvious tissue?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll share that now. So when you went through the layers, did you feel a particular layer that was stronger than anything else? And if so, then you can post. Yeah, most of them did. Most people felt an obvious tissue. So let's have a look in the chat and see which one they picked up most on. Okay, Kerry started off with bones. Mara took by surprise, as did the peristeum. Yeah.
Okay.
Muscles, Antonia, bone and marrow, fascia, there's quite a big, broad mixture of different.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Very interesting. Some people in the skin, there's a pretty broad range, actually, pretty broad range. But the fact is that most people did feel, they definitely felt a specific level, a specific level of tissue. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's a last poll.
Oh yeah, right. The next one. This is that's the one that they chose, right? The one that came into their attention. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'm just trying to think back my own experience. They were all so interesting. I've got to pick one now.
Okay.
Let me just think. So the next poll is, what was the experience, right? Did it feel more powerful or more weak? So just thinking about that level that you picked, and I'm just going to try and think what mine one was of all of them. Yeah, I think that it was more like the subcutaneous, the fat level. I haven't really been so aware of that, but that definitely felt like it could be stronger. It felt like it could be stronger. But most people are really feeling powerful today.
Wow,
You'll be pleased.
Okay.
93% felt that layer powerful. So that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that good?
Great.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a typical way to tune in osteopathy to the body, to the client, to the whole being also, to find the layer where to move, where to connect. Yeah. And the great thing is in Shiatsu we have the connection with the elements, so we get more deeper information even about this kind of feeling and tuning into the body.
Yeah,
and it's a really great connection between the both.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Okay, great, thank you. The first slide shows a little bit for me the connection between Shiatsu and osteopathy.
Yeah.
After my Shiatsu education, I did a cranial education also, and then 5 years osteopathy. And
you really put yourself through it, didn't you?
Oh, it was hard in a way also, because I was used to the space in Shiatsu, the broadness, and then I had to go to the anatomy and the very precise touch. So they even told me, "Oh, can you please touch more subtle?"
Oh, really?
Yes, I was really, me.
Well, the osteopathy people, how dare they say that to a Shiatsu practitioner? How dare they say that?
So
there's so many different ways of subtlety, though, aren't there?
Yes, it's a new kind of world then. And it gave me a lot for Shiatsu, this kind of touch, and also be very precise in anatomy. So if I touch, for example, a shoulder or a knee with Shiatsu techniques, I would say, then I have a different view inside. So all this experience from osteopathy.
Yeah.
And today I would like to share a little bit of the background, the history of the osteopathy, because I feel a lot of people think very highly of osteopathy, which is good, of course. Yeah, it's a great way to connect. But also on the other hand, I often hear or feel like I sense like people in Shiatsu people are a little bit too humble with Shiatsu and not really. We have so much power in Shiatsu and so much to give, to offer, and it's on the same level, And this, for me, this is a very important message I want to share.
Brilliant. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so the osteopathic concept.
Yeah. Here you can see the founder of osteopathy, Andrew Taylor Still. You see the dates when he lived. So it's sort of young osteopathy. He lived in the Wild West in America, and his father was Methodist priest, and doctor. So he had this kind of background and found his own way into medicine through disasters in his family. So he was really drawn to where can I find more real medicine to meet people. So he took everything in this time what he could get, like mesmerism or hypnosis or whatever. And also he had connection with Native Americans, and they taught him bone correction techniques, so very old techniques, and that was the start for osteopathy, I would say. The name osteopathy is also suffering in bones, yeah, coming from the bones. And he was known as a man who had a big bag with a whole skeleton, all the bones, and was always looking at the bones, how do they work. So that's a little bit of the background of him. And he was a very spiritual man, I would say. He wrote a lot about space, and he spoke a lot about God also. And this time that was strange. Yeah, he couldn't speak loudly about this. And there's a script you can get, a handout, and there I put some sentences from his autobiography. And what I find very supportive and very interesting, he said we need to know everything about anatomy and physiology, but when we really meet the person, then we have to forget this. Yeah, we have to become empty in a way. And he's on even going deeper. Then, yeah, he said, put the words beside and go into like a kind of a silent, sincere mood, and meet in this kind of mode, yeah. And that was, yeah, really impressive. And that was one of the sentences which put me through the whole 5 years of osteopathy. Yes. And he also spoke about that in that time the human being was experienced as an engine somehow, and he found it very important to rely on the self-empowerment somehow, on our self-healing powers. Yeah, I'm not sure if my English is fine now.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our natural healing power, yeah, and we have to depend on it as a therapist. And this is for me very close to our Shiatsu alignment, I would say. And he said to find health is the mission of the doctor. To find illness is easy for everybody. So I just go through to the next exercise, I would say.
Yeah, great. Let's do another exercise.
It's a sort of a visualization exercise. And if you like, you can lie down or close your eyes again. If you sitting upright, and allow your attention to deeply sink into the body, to the body space. And the first thing your attention is going to is the cranium, the head, and just try to sense the cranium, how it feels in the moment. Does it feel more full or kind of cloudy or light or even dark or empty? Or is there a sense of movement? And in which way does it move, if it moves? Just try to get a feeling of your head, of the space of the head, of the cranium in this moment now. And the next step is let your attention sink down towards the sacrum to sense the space of the sacrum itself. Can you see the form with your inner eye? Do you get a feeling of vitality, of power? Does it feel strong? Is there movement, or is it more sort of very quiet? Is it a more kind of a deep sort of quietness? Or is it like a little animal in the grass, or a heavy stone, like a crystal? What are your images, your pictures, your feelings, your sensations? And both bones have a very deep connection with the power of the water element. And there's also a physical connection through fascia, through membranes. If you go again to the cranium, visualize inside the cranium, there is a very thick kind of membrane, the dura mater, which is covering the bones from inside, and it's going to the foramen magnum, the big hole where the brain is coming out, going through the spine, leaving the skull. And this kind of membrane is like a very strong pipe and going straight down to the sacrum, and there's the next connection. And it's like a closed system. And in this kind of closed system, there's fluid, liquor, very strong and nourishing fluid, which has its own rhythm, its own movement. And the brain, in a way, is swimming in this fluid, and it's going straight down in maybe in a kind of a wave movement, in a rhythm to the sacrum. And just try to sense it, if you can feel this kind of fluid level in your body, in the depth of your body. If you get like of a feeling of floating, maybe you can feel a kind of a pulsation, very deep rhythm, which is much slower than the breathing rhythm or the heartbeat. And just leave your attention with this kind of movement, if you can feel it floating in this deep level. Nothing special to expect, just try to float with the feeling, with the sensation, deep inside, floating deep into the water element, the power of the water. And then slowly, slowly that attention is coming up to the surface again. We can feel your outlines, your outer skin, the floor, the space, the room around you, and slowly open the eyes again. And then some questions.
Wow, I'm just still coming out of that.
Okay, take your time.
I'm still coming out, yeah. I've never gone that deep into that. Is that the same fluid as you have in craniosacral? When you do craniosacral?
Exactly, yeah. Craniosacral is one of the parts of osteopathy, and it's a cranial wave in a way, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I've never actually felt that before, so that's a first for me. Thank you for that.
Great.
Yeah, no, I never really believed it before. I thought, yeah, whatever.
Okay, thank you.
You have to go quite deep, don't you? You have to go quite deep, don't you, to get it? It's very deep.
Yeah, it needs sort of a quietness, sinking in.
Yeah, I couldn't work out. I could feel my breath rhythm having a bit of an influence on it, but there was a deeper thing underneath it. So I wonder if anyone else could sense it. Let's put the poll up. Did you have a sensation of that? I'd say mine was a little bit, probably between a shadow and very clearly. It was more of a sort of deep thing. I couldn't quite work out where it was going.
Okay.
But yeah. But
sometimes it more feels like a lake or like the sea. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really moving somewhere. It can be very different feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because it felt, I just, wow. Okay. It's a new experience for me. Yeah. Brilliant.
There's still a heavy head. Okay. Oh.
Well, what's this in the chat?
Yeah.
I still have a heavy head. Yeah.
Okay. Is there more coming in, or can we go to the next one?
Should we go for the sixth poll?
Yeah.
Did it feel vital? Did it feel weak? Yeah. Okay. So tuning into that, did it feel vital or did it feel weak? Your fluid level. I would say it felt pretty vital, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Is that good?
It's very good.
I assume that's good. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It felt pretty vital. Yeah. And most people have. Look, 88% people found that it was quite vital. So that's really interesting.
And you could feel it. Wow.
Yeah. And most people could feel it.
It's not very easy to feel it on oneself. It's easier to feel it on somebody else. Usually.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that might explain why some people couldn't feel it before.
Okay.
Did you want to go to the next poll?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's it. Whoops, sorry. We're both doing it at once.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay, so the last poll is what was there any movement? This is an interesting one. Let's see. So I guess if you felt any movement.
Okay, yeah. For most of them, it's going down. Mm-hmm.
Down, is it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Is that normal?
No, nothing is normal.
You're the osteopath, right? You should know. Well, it obviously is normal because they've just shown us that is you.
But sometimes you have more experience to feel your head, your cranium, and not so much with the sacrum. So yeah.
Oh, I see. So you tend to your attention goes there more. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
It's easy to feel this kind of movement going down. Okay.
Right. So what does it just out of interest, does it actually flow in any particular direction physically?
It's like a wave. It's coming down, up and down all the time.
Oh, right.
And it should come up and down also all the time. And it's you can get a sense of the vitality of the person, and it's very connected with our concept of water energy. I would say it's a deep vitality.
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. So that's a good sort of getting a diagnosis also, tuning in.
All right.
Yeah.
Because we would say that it's linked to the Jing then.
Yes.
I guess it's linked to the Jing level.
Definitely. Yeah. It's the first rhythm coming into the body with the conception.
Oh, right.
Then the heartbeat comes, the second rhythm, and then with the birth, the breathing comes, the third rhythm.
Right.
And when we die, it's going back the other way around. So first we stop breathing, then the heart is stopping, and then you can almost half an hour you can sense the cranial wave, and then it's going.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, amazing.
And I would like to introduce some of the osteopathic basic concepts. So just to understand how they work, I would say.
Yeah, no, I'd be fascinated. Yeah, go on.
The same as in Shiatsu, the body is seen as unity, yeah, as the whole one. And this is one of the magic, I would say, also of osteopathy, because you try to see any level of this person.
Right.
And the second is form and function depend on each other. This is very important in osteopathy. That means, short example, we have this mastoid process, this bone behind the ear, and this muscle, mastoid muscle, is connected there. And for a newborn, this bone is not existing. This part of the bone is not existing. It's flat. But they have the muscle, of course. And if they start to move and they need to uplift the head, then the muscle is coming into function. And then how do we say it? It tears? Yeah, it pulls on the bone.
Yeah.
And then you get this kind of bone drop. Yeah. So the function is forming the bone. Yeah. And it goes the other way around. If you lose the function, the form goes in a different direction again. And to know this about the body is very important in the concept for osteopaths, because they more understand what happens in the body.
Yes.
And the third very basic fundamental assumption is self-regulation, trusting on self-regulation.
Yeah.
So the founder, Andrew Taylor Still, said you have to get your tools to find what's about, and then working with it and step back and leave it alone. Very important, yeah. And I like this very much.
It's very Shiatsu, it's very Zen.
Yes, it is. And the very important sentence is, of course, life is movement. So any kind of imbalance is seen as lack of movement. Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. And I think I skip the next three. It's not so important for the moment, maybe. This can be interesting. We have to deal with two powers. One is the gravity. So the weight of the bones and everything.
Yeah.
And if you sink down to the earth, it's supporting us lifting up. So this is called propulsive force. And these two forces meet in the sacrum. Yeah, you have the heavy weight of the body coming into the sacrum.
Yeah.
And the propulsive force is coming through the legs, lifting up, and they meet in the sacrum. And understanding how these powers work in the body is very important to understand how the body reacts on different situations. So it's easier to understand what happens in the body.
Yeah.
And this is also very interesting, I find, because in Western medicine, we have specialists for kidneys, for heart, for bones, like this. And in osteopathy, you try to connect everything. You have to know everything about the body. And there's a very important connection between the inside and the outside. And the outside is called case or cover. The bones build the cover like the rib cage.
Yeah.
And there's a content like the brain and the organs. And in Western medicine, it's divided somehow. Yeah. And in osteopathy, you think a lot about the connections between outside and inside.
Yeah.
So, and a lot
For
of...
example, so give an example of that, I guess, would be like if there's internal organ function, something going wrong with the internal organ functions, you can see it through the structure, right? Is that what you...
Yeah. A lot of the connection is going through the fascia.
Yes.
And for example, the kidneys, they have a fascia cover. And with the breathing through the diaphragm, they are moved upwards and downwards. Yeah,
Right.
breathing movement. And they slide on the psoas muscle. Yeah,
Right.
it's like I don't know the English word. They slide up and down. Yeah, on the muscle.
Yes.
The muscle is
Okay.
coming from the lower spine and
Yes.
going through the pelvis to the femur. Yeah, to the leg bone, the upper leg bone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like going upwards 45 degrees, something like that. And
Yeah.
the kidneys use it. And if the kidney has some imbalance, maybe the fascia is becoming more stiff, and the sliding on the fascia of the muscle is not very nice. And then the
Yeah.
muscle reacts, and
Right.
the muscle pulls on the lower spine,
Yeah.
and then you get problems in the lower back.
All right. There
Yeah.
we are. Oh,
So
that's
we know these connections from Shiatsu. We
yeah.
connected with kidney energy, yeah, with water energy. And
Yeah.
there's a physical connection also. And this was also always very interesting for me, the connection between the five elements and
Yeah.
these body connections also.
Yeah.
And also the other way around, if you have problems with the lower back, at some point it's going into the kidneys also.
Yeah.
This
Sure.
kind of concept is very important for osteopaths
Yeah.
to understand what happens in the body.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
brilliant.
this is one of the magic parts, I would say, of osteopathy.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Life is movement. There are three columns in osteopathy. There's
Yeah.
a part to work with the bones, with the muscles, with the skeleton. This is called parietal part. And there's the visceral part, is working with the organs, with the content.
Yeah.
And then the craniosacral part. So craniosacral therapy is coming out of osteopathy and took its own place also. You can reach everything through the craniosacral system also.
Right.
But it's still part of osteopathy, and the classic osteopath is working with all three columns. But
Yes.
some osteopaths are more into working with the organs or
Right. Right. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
And so coming back to movement, loss of movement or of ability to move guides always to compensation. And osteopaths always try to find the way of the compensation. It's going through the body somehow. If you have an injury in the ankle, for example,
Yeah.
then you don't go to the doctor, you don't like doctors. So after 3 days, it's fine. 4 weeks later, your knee hurts. You still
Right.
don't go to the doctor. Maybe,
No.
yeah. You can deal
Yeah.
with it. 3 weeks later, it's sort of fine. So this kind of imbalance moves through the body, through
Yeah.
compensation, yeah.
Yes.
And the body tries to do the best to not to feel pain.
Yeah.
And tracing back to the roots, that is interesting, the interesting way. Where was the first primary dysfunction, the first imbalance coming into the body? And then you can go there and go back in the chain.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds a little bit like Kyo and Jitsu, doesn't it? Finding the Kyo behind the Jitsu kind of.
yeah. When I got some osteopathic treatments, I felt that could be Shiatsu. Yeah,
Really?
because they
Yeah.
were working with space, with like Kyo and Jitsu, with connections. Very interesting. Yeah. Feels very
Yeah.
similar to Shiatsu.
Yes.
Just the concept is a little different. Yeah, it's coming from Western medicine.
Sure. Yeah.
And I feel for this reason it's seen better in our world. Yeah.
Yes.
It's more
Exactly.
difficult to see Shiatsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think, I don't know if you managed to, I don't know if you've met Dan Keown at all. He did a webinar for us at the beginning of this series. I don't know if you've seen his work, Dan Keown. Dan Keown. He's another one who's a Western doctor, and he's done acupuncture, and he's done lots of work on embryology and fascia, and he's made loads of links like that. And I think that's a really good way forwards.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Yeah.
And it's very interesting to know that he hasn't really been received very well by the traditional acupuncture world, because he's a bit of a rebel. They want to stay in their own mindset, kind of thing. And he's like, oh no, just forget about that. Look, this is what's happening, and all this. And it's sometimes difficult for people, I think, to break out of their own modality.
Yeah.
But actually, we're all doing essentially the same thing. We're all working as healers. We're working with touching the body. There's got to be a lot of crossover and a lot of things in common that we have, that we share.
Yeah. And this is a link. And I always feel, when people ask me, what do you do? I always say, I do Shiatsu. Yeah.
Listen up, everyone. Did you hear that? Yeah, 5 years of osteopathy, and he still calls himself a Shiatsu practitioner. That's what we like to hear, right? Isn't that cool? I think we need a few thumbs up in the chat. Thank you, Lucy, for starting that up. Let's see how many thumbs up we can get for that in the chat. I think we're going to get a lot. Yeah, there they go. Look.
Yeah. Okay. I really feel when I work with osteopathic techniques, also in Shiatsu treatments, I try to connect. I always feel then I can go deeper with Shiatsu. Yeah, because we have the background of the 5 elements, we can really go deeper. Yeah, we don't just go to the beginning of the chain, but even deeper. Why did it begin there, for example? And that's really great. Yeah, we have really good tools. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay.
Cool.
Flex up.
What else have you got? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Shiatsu's the best. We all know that.
Okay, let's see what.
I think you're right, though. I mean, the thing about Shiatsu is it's a fantastic thing, and it's very easy to go upwards into the spiritual areas and everything.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to balance that out by going structural, because after all, the spiritual and the emotional are tied up with the structure of the body, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a clarity. You can have clarity on the auric field and in the field, but also having clarity when you go deep into the body, just like that tissue exercise you did with us. I think that's really valuable.
Yeah,
because it affects the touch. It affects your understanding of touch. When you
really can dive in. Yeah. And of course, in osteopathy, it exists also. Yeah, there are many different kinds of osteopathy, and the spiritual background is there also. Yeah.
Yes, it sounds like it from his experience with Native Americans and everything, and his philosophy. It sounds very similar to Shiatsu.
Yeah, and a lot of osteopaths work in this way also.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. So
cool.
Just maybe some slides to the parietal movement system.
Yeah.
I like to see the connection to nature. The bones in the upper right corner. You see the femur bone, and inside it's really like the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, it's a very open space. There is blood inside also. It's very vivid. Yeah, and usually our picture of bones is like a stiff branch, a dry piece of wood. Yeah, like this. And but it's really powerful and very vivid. Yeah, water element.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Also like this. Yeah. It's in a way, some bones you can really see through. If you see real bones in the skull, for example, you can see through. You don't know how it's stable. Yeah, it's really interesting how the body is built. Yeah.
Yes.
So you can.
That whole tensegrity thing is amazing, isn't it? The whole tensegrity is really amazing.
Yeah. So for me, it's always important to have these kind of pictures for my inner alignment, for my fantasy. If I touch tissues, to dive in, as you said before. Yeah. So I use this kind of picture you can see now for diving into tissues.
Wow, that's an amazing picture.
And this is also, it looks very fluid somehow if you look at it. Yeah, it's not really like a trunk of wood or something.
No. It's all structured water, actually. At the end of the day, there's so much water everywhere in the body, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing.
And here you can say the blood going into the bone, yeah?
Yeah.
The nourishment, the marrow, and all these waves in the bones, yeah?
Yeah.
Also here, the shoulder joint on the left side, it looks very vivid, yeah? When it's an MRT and it's very, very vivid deep inside.
Yes.
Also here, and it's like this, yeah, like a river delta.
Wow, where is that? Which part of the body is that then?
It's the Amazonas River, I think, or I don't know.
Part of a bone?
No, it's a river.
Oh, it's the river. Oh, it is a
No,
river. I was going to
it is
say,
a river
yeah.
going into the sea, and it looks almost the same, yeah.
It does, yeah. I know what you mean, yeah, because it's all to do with water, isn't it? It's always to do with connecting.
Yeah. So these are just examples how it feels if you enrich your fantasy with pictures.
Yes.
And with the water element. And now we are coming to the fascia a little bit. Do I say it right? Fascia or the fascia?
Yeah, fascia. Yeah, fascia's fine. Yeah,
fascia.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here we are in the tensegrity model. It's the idea. The old idea is that the skeleton is like a trunk. You can put cloth on. Yes, everything is hanging down. And since several years, they find it's more like a self. No, my English is going away.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like self-regulating, is it? With the compression and the tension structures.
Yeah.
They work together, don't they?
Yeah. So
I've got something. You just keep talking. I can go and get something.
Great. So it's protecting and itself in itself.
Look what I've got.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you push on one side, the whole thing is moving. Yeah, self-supporting.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Mira. Yeah, self-supporting. That's great. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
And he found the tensegrity model. He spoke about first time about the tensegrity model.
Yeah.
He's very happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very happy.
They even tried to put it in architecture. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
This self-supporting system. And the whole body seems to be a self-supporting system. And it's very important to know, to look into the body like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is even moving. Yeah, this can move on the shore.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So here we are diving into the elements again.
Yeah.
And this is also very important, really, to see the waves of sound coming into the ear, going through the bones. Yeah, the hammer and the ambers. I don't know if it's the right word.
Yes, it is. That's right. Yeah.
And going into the fluid of the spirals. Yeah, there's fluid inside. Though the water element is really going through the bones. Yeah, physically also.
Wow.
And these I usually show in the seminars to get a different feeling for bones. Yeah.
Yes.
To get the connection to the water element. And there's a saying, bones like to sing. This kind of waves they like to transport. And bones are even used for example, in Tibet, to reach with deep sounds in rituals, for example. And we use it in this kind of therapy also. Yeah, the deep vibration, deep going into the bone level to enrich the water element, to empower the water. And then you are in the waves again. And this kind of, Masaru Emoto,
Yeah.
he showed the information coming into the water element and forming the water. So thinking in this way about bones, for me, it's very supportive in connecting with bones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it comes to another level. And this is a very important connection between Shiatsu and osteopathy for me. And here's more the swinging, how do you call this? My English, help.
Sorry, what is it? What do you mean?
The vibration of the bones. Yeah, you can see
Oh, yes.
in the
Yeah.
spine, in the skull, everywhere. Yeah, it's a
Yes.
different picture of bones. Yeah.
Yes. Do you mean like the resonant frequencies of
Yes.
the
Yeah.
bones?
It's going on a higher and higher level then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can go in connection in a very fine way. You don't have to go physically deep all the time.
No.
Yeah, you can tune in on different levels.
Yes.
Okay. I think we are coming to an end slowly.
We are. We've just got a few minutes left, so I don't know if you've
Yeah.
got any finishing. All these hours always go so fast. It's been so interesting.
Yeah. Maybe if there are some questions.
Yeah. Are there any questions? Maybe you could just put them in the chat right now, or you've got just a few more slides.
There are more slides, if you like.
Yeah. Can we have more of these webinars? Suzanne wants. They liked it.
Okay.
I'd like to ask a question, which is, what was it actually like to study osteopathy? What was it really like? I'm sure we'd all be fascinated to know. I mean,
yeah, for me, it was basically going through a needle hole.
oh, really?
Yes.
It's really hard work, was
yes,
it? Or?
Somehow hard work and also very fascinating to dive in all these different parts of the body, very broad techniques, in all different ways. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Lucy wants to know a question about your own personal preference. Do you actually tend towards cranial work, or do you use adjustments when you're working? How do you actually work yourself?
Yes, I do use adjustments. Basically, my approach is through Shiatsu. Yeah.
Okay.
And if it's fitting with the person, I change maybe. Sometimes it's depending on what the person is bringing up. So I even start maybe with craniosacral work or with the osteopathic techniques. But for me, always Shiatsu is the way of integration or the way to go deeper then. Yeah. Once I had somebody who had a tennis elbow, and he asked me to fix it, and I thought, and I did it, and then all the emotions came. Yeah,
right.
Been very deep now, than with Shiatsu. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think personally, I think that's the great thing. I mean, I like doing physical work as much as anyone, but it's placing it in a context and putting some meaning to it. That's what people want. They want to know why. Why is it like that?
That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're quite shocked sometimes when I say, well, actually, do you know, these meridians, they're telling you that, it's some shock or some emotional thing. And they went, really? And they said, well, that's what's happening to me. And suddenly, like you say, the emotion will come because it creates meaning for them.
Exactly.
That's what I think is so wonderful, isn't it? And
then you can go deeper in your process. Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, well, it looks like we've got to finish up. I'm so sorry. It's just flown past, hasn't it? We're going to have to get you back. I don't know how.
Okay. I'm happy to.
Yeah, it's been so fascinating, and it's just so great to see you after all these years as well. And so, you're doing so well and looking after the Kiental Shiatsu school.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful.
It's a great job, a heavy job also, but really good.
Yeah, great. Okay, so let's have a few reactions in the chat before he goes. It'd be really nice to see just some appreciation, some thank yous, or some thumbs up.
Oh wow, thank you.
Yeah, or they love it. They've got lots of hearts and everything, and celebration and everything.
Great.
Yeah. And, the big takeaway for me is after 5 years of osteopathy, Jürgen still calls himself a Shiatsu practitioner. Almost. That's made my week. That has. That's
okay.
And thank you, Dinah, for all your work in the chat.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. So this is the last of the European Shiatsu Congress partner webinars. Whoa! Oh. We're gonna have to think of an excuse to continue them on somehow. We'll think of something. Don't you worry. And of course, we're always running things on New Energy Work. So just get over to newenergywork.com. We're running a course on distance healing at the moment, and we're going to be running other stuff in the autumn. And we'll have to see what happens with the European Shiatsu Congress in Amsterdam. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
So thanks for tuning in.
Go there.
And
let's
thank you
there.
so much, Jürgen. Really appreciate it.
Okay.